Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Now, today we are talking about the Spurs ladies. Spurs ladies are us. That's what I say.
I
Kate,
say too.
yeah, Kate, good morning to you.
Good
Are you
morning.
raring to go?
I can't wait. I'm just strapping myself in.
Yeah, strap yourselves in, people, because you're in for a really good ride here. You know, Spurs ladies, we haven't done that well last season, but the season before we finished fifth. So we've got to do some more progression and get ourselves in order. First of all, we've got to get a new manager. But the thing is, the big news at the club is that Vicky Jepson is going to be made manager. Hopefully, I'm hoping, because she's young. She's bright. She came from the Liverpool Academy. She worked her way through, and I think she'll be a fantastic appointment. I just hope that they do this. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. We always have to do this because we want, obviously, people to like and subscribe to our channel. Like all other channels, we're here to make a happy day for you, right? And we give you what you want, right, on the men's side and the women's side. And you know, we've got Dermot and Philip on our other side with Mia as well. And what great shows we offer you there. But on this show, we're going to offer you a fantastic show because we got Kate joining me permanently now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, when you're doing a show on your own, Kate, it's not as easy as you think.
It's
right?
not.
And you can't bounce off anybody. You can only bounce off the comments in the chat, which are fantastic anyway. But you've got to keep it flowing. And it's nice to have another person's opinion, male or female. You know what I mean?
100%.
Right. So we're doing a quiz as well. We've got a quiz, right? And I'm going to change the question today.
Ooh.
Right. So it's to win an Emerson Royal shirt. And I know the Boxall family are after this shirt.
We are.
Yeah, Kate, do you know what? If they want competition, get your super chats in. It's only £2. I know times are hard and I know money is tight because this, well, I'm not going to even mention why, because it might be too political. We don't want to go there.
No.
Right? So the actual is for an Emerson Royal shirt and it's signed and it's official, right? And the question is, I'm going to make it nice and easy for you all. When we last won a cup was in 2008, but who scored our winning goal against Chelsea in the League Cup final 2008? So get your answers. It's only £2, remember? And I really like to see some super chats in because it's all for charity, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, all for a good cause. Every penny's going to charity. So, yeah, please get them super chats in. But don't win the shirt because I want it, please.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the Boxall family are going to be very upset if they don't win it. But the thing is, it's a fair competition. Philip, our bank manager, is doing all the adding up and he's doing it all lovely for us because he's so organised. So it will be done properly and we'll put all the names in a hat and we'll draw it. And then they did mention that part of the money is going to Ireland's cancer research. And we'll have all the tickets to prove it, you know, that it's all gone to the right sources. So now we're going to get on to Spurs ladies. Right. So the first one I want to bring up is not that one, right? It's this one. Right, so we're going to do a review of the Spurs results and performances last season. Just a brief review. We're not going to cover every single match because then we'll be here all day, won't we, Kate?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's other things to talk about. But the Spurs ladies, they got off to a really good start beating Leicester. They beat Leicester 2-1. And then what happened after that was tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you see it, Kate? Like when we lost those 9 matches on a row, what was you thinking?
I just couldn't work out how the wheels had fallen off so badly. I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on exactly what went wrong, but it just went from bad to worse all of a sudden, which obviously ended up with our manager being sacked.
Yeah, which was really unfortunate because she's a very talented lady.
Yeah, I like her very much.
I met her a couple of times and I had a brief word with her and I watched all her motivational stuff in the training room because on Spurs Play, she was talking about the progression of the team at the beginning of the season, and she wants to push on. So to push on was to get into the top 3 and make Champions League. But it worked out the other way. We finished in the bottom 3.
I know.
Well, we finished 4th from bottom, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah, 4th from bottom, which wasn't a very good season. But she did. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, do you think it was more of the season before we overachieved by getting 5th?
I don't think so, because I look at our players, right? We had a lot of injuries, though, right? Because we had Kit Graham out for long spells. We had Kaya Simon, our main striker, and we replaced her with Elly Brazil. And then Elly Brazil got injured against Manchester City. I was at that match, and she got an ACL tear, and she was out for the whole of the season. Just like Bentancur in the men's game, she's out for the whole season. And we just bought her, and she's a promising, talented striker. And we could have pushed on, but we had other injuries to Seasonasom.
We was unlucky with our injuries, weren't we?
Oh, you know what? If you've got your centre-back out, your main striker out, and then you get another striker, and then she gets injured.
Yeah.
Right? And then we were struggling because the defence needed that continuity at the back, because Seasonasom, she's very athletic, and she covers not just her position, she can cover gaps. And we were leaving massive gaps at the back, and teams were exploiting us.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, we weren't losing by a lot of goals. There was only 2 or 3 games. Well, we got battered by Arsenal twice, right, which was devastating. I don't want to say the scores. No, I'm not going to give them that pleasure. They can, I won't say it on there because it's too early and we'll probably get struck off. Right, and then we lost to Chelsea. But like I mentioned to you, Kate, what did you think? Because I didn't really get your full response. What did you think about the Champions League teams getting a bye into the League Cup?
I just think that's outrageous. I think that's absolutely disgraceful. I mean, like I said to you, if they are struggling to play all the games, then they should be dropped out of the cup. They shouldn't automatically get a bye to the next round. That's so unfair.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's tragic that they did that, because you're playing all these cup games, going far to play them as well if you're drawn away from home, right? It's because most of the teams are up north. There's only three London teams, so you're travelling a long way, right? And then you get Chelsea and Arsenal and Man United. They all get byes.
Yeah, it's terrible. Can you imagine if that happened in the men's game? There'd be an outrage.
There would. And then, they'll be lobbying, and they'll be standing outside the FA and the Football League moaning about it, But that's where us ladies have got to make more noise in the game.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
We do. Right.
Oh, can I stop the chat? Can I just say we've got a super chat?
Yes, I'm going to bring it up now. That's the next thing I was going to do. Jimmy boy. Right,
he wants that shirt.
Oh no! You know what? It'd be a tragedy if he doesn't win it. Right? But everybody's got a chance now. He's given the answer, so there's no excuse for people not to put more in if you want to enter the competition. So I'm looking forward to seeing some more in there. Right, so we're going to go to the chat now, Kate, because we've got lots of people joining us.
Good.
Right, first of all, we've got your lovely husband, Jim. Hi, Elly and Kate, Wonder Team. Yes, we are.
Dream team.
My niece, Drula. Hello, ladies, with a blue heart and a white heart. See, she knows her Spurs. And Drula again. All right, Jim. Yes, he's all right. Do you know what? He'll be more all right if he wins that shirt. Right, then we've got Jim Boxall. Hi, Drula. You feeling any better? Yeah, because my niece suffers with her back really badly, like Dermot. And my husband's got a bad back as well.
And I have as well. I
know,
know, exactly.
Past 40, it does hurt.
It's
Everything
so true.
Starts aching. Right, I'm up. Drula says, I'm up, managed to get downstairs, now laying on the sofa waiting for these 2 beauties. True. Yeah, beauty being the operative word. Right, and then Oh, yes. Right, we're going to mention this later. Thank you for bringing it up, though. Hannah Dingley, fantastic appointment. No reason whatsoever she can't do a great job. True, but we'll be talking about that later. So we're
Yes,
saving that one. We're saving that one. And then we've got Jim Boxall. Again, we'll take it easy today, Drula, and rest. True. Right, so what I'd like to touch on now, Kate, is we've gone... Well, I don't want to harp on about the review too much, because at the end of the day, we've got lots of things to talk about. And I've covered that already in a previous show. But what I'd like to talk about now is what we expect from our Spurs women this season, because that's more important. That's the past. What we've got to do is how we're going to strengthen our team. What do you feel we can do? Like, not just signings, what do you think we can do in terms of getting the structure of the club right? And also, you know, Vicky Jepson, do you think she deserves the job?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I watched an interview with her, and she said that she's learnt from her time at Liverpool, and she's made mistakes and she's learnt from them. And I think that we should give her a chance to show that. We need a bit of stability in the game. We need to have a manager in there who knows what she's doing, and start again and get the players gelling ready for the new season.
Yeah, and tell us in the chat as well what you think we should be doing, because I haven't seen any news on any signings.
No, not me.
Bit of a shame, because last year we brought in Iwabuchi from Arsenal on loan, but she's gone back now. And we signed Beth England in January. The last show I said March, but it was actually January. So I'm correcting myself there. You know what? You've got to have a bit of humility. If you get something wrong, own up to it.
Exactly.
But the reason I thought it was March is because that's when we started picking up a bit. Rhian Skinner got sacked, but then we had the manager bounce because we won 1-0 against Leicester again. I think Leicester is the team we always beat. We just got something, even with the men's team, we tend to beat, apart from this year when we got thrashed 4-1, but then we beat them 6-2 at home, didn't we?
So we can't play them every week.
You know what I mean? Or Man City at home. That would be fantastic. But the women, I think they need to strengthen the defence.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because I think we're going to lose. Shalina Sadorski. I'm not 100%, but the noises around the ground, because she's 30 and she is missing home, and I can't blame her, because, you know, even when you go on holiday for a week or two, you miss your home, don't you?
Of course you do, yeah.
So I hope she stays.
Yeah, she's one of our best players. In all fairness, isn't she? Without a doubt.
Yeah, and when she came back from, she had a really long illness last season, and she missed a lot of games, and it showed in our defence.
Yeah.
But Amy Turner, she's a very good defender, and Molly Bartrip, they're both good defenders, but they need a leader. So, and then you've got Ash Neville, who was like chopped and changed. That poor girl, she didn't know whether she was coming or going in the team in terms of her position. But she is very versatile, don't get me wrong. But I think her best position is right wing back, stroke inverted midfielder, because her technical skill is really good. What do you think of Ash Neville? Because I'd like to get your point of view on her as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they were best positions. I was reading a poll that Spurs women did, and Amy Turner was actually voted the best defender last year. Yeah. But Ash Neville came third. So, but yeah, I think you're right. I think she's got to be played in a position that suits her best. So, but I think she could definitely do a good job for us if we do lose. I'm not even going to say her name because I'll probably get it wrong. Sadorski, is it?
Yeah, Shalina Sadorski.
Oh, I did say it right.
See, my maiden name's Loizu, but my married name is Gaburados. No one's saying that. But I just say to people when they phone me up, just call me Mrs. K or just call me Elly, because they try and pronounce my Greek name. Because you know when telesales people ring you, they've got your proper name. So I'll just go, Badoo. Yeah, but I agree with you, right? But like the men's team, if you've got one experienced centre-back who's holding and talking to the other players to get them organised, and then you push Ash Neville into the middle, right, and make her an inverted wing-back, like Porro and Kulusevski were going to be asked this year. They're going to be asked to play that role, and then they'll play Emerson behind. We can bring in another right back, a proper right back who's experienced. Buy one, Spurs, please, because then you're going to see the best of Ash Neville, and she's missed out on the England squad again.
Yeah, I know. So sad for her.
I know. I was so gutted, you know, because she's my favourite woman player.
Yeah.
You know, because she's very technical and she's brilliant on the ball and she's really good at passing, and she's got very good vision, and she's wasted at right back or full back, as they used to call it.
Yeah.
Waste of a talent. But I think we also need to strengthen up front to help England. She needs somebody like a Jermaine Defoe or someone like a Luka Modric, like, you know, someone like a 10 behind her.
Yeah, creative.
Yeah, because we got Ildesoy, but she tends to play like Ildesoy Bissett. She plays on the wing, but she plays like inverted. Then we've got Rosella Ayan, who's very good, but she's brilliant on the wing, right, and crossing. We need somebody in the middle to create for us, and we brought in Iwabuchi to do that job, but it just didn't gel. It just didn't gel, and she was getting knocked off the ball a lot. Plus, she's a gooner.
Oh,
we got her from the Arsenal. I'm not saying that she didn't try.
Yeah,
but you know, it's like
suspicious, isn't it? I don't like it.
Yeah, you know what? We got to put that out there, haven't we?
We have,
fans are tuning in. Sorry about that, but it's true.
Right. Did you see what David Clark said? It said that Vicky Jepson doesn't deserve the job since she took the reins. Some of her decisions were baffling. We have lightweight players who are not good enough at this level.
I agree with him up to a point about playing the fullbacks and she really didn't get enough help from the club. Right, so you will not see the best of her. Like any team, right? If you don't strengthen in the core areas, it's going to show, right? So I do agree with you in terms of some of her decisions. A little bit, she could have like pushed Ash Neville. If I was the manager and I was the coach, I would have pushed her into that position earlier in the season. And then we wouldn't have had a bad start like that. But that's down to Rianne Skinner, not up to Vicky Jepson. She did try to change it around, but she had so many injuries. Jessica Naz was off form. So was Drew Spence most of the season. She didn't really light up the Spurs like she did for Chelsea. You know, she was all right, but she didn't light up the world.
Yeah.
You know, and I was watching her closely because I thought, I'm going to watch this lady to see what she offers. And she did offer quite a lot going forward, but there's the backtracking as well and tracking back for your team. Yeah? Because when I was playing, right, I was a skillful player. I was a cam, but I had to do my defensive duties as well. And that's where a team gels, where you're all working for one another. But I get his point. Right, I get his point, and David Clark, that is a very good point, but I just feel it's a little bit harsh, just a little bit, because she was trying, right, and you know, sometimes. Go on, Kate.
No, I was going to say Jim asked us if Spurs put a lot of money into the ladies' team.
Well, they've spent 250k on one signing, Beth England, which shaved our bacon. It really did. It really, because she scored 12 in 12. That was amazing. And not only that, she played like a number 10 and a number 9. She was filling those two gaps. Whereas if she just played as a number 9, she'd done that Harry Kane role. She did. And she'd done it very well. But it's not fair for one player to take all that role.
No.
You know, those two roles. It wasn't. And she would have benefited even more. And I reckon she would have even doubled that tally. That's how talented Beth England is.
Yeah.
And remember, we were talking about the match against Portugal. Oh my God, I was shouting at the TV, and I was talking to my niece Julia about it. And then other people messaged me about it as well, who know that I like Spurs ladies and that, I particularly love Beth England as well, And one person said to me that she went to the Chelsea Cup final with a Chelsea shirt on. So I forgive her that, though, because remember, she was at Chelsea for so long. And
she's
probably
just about to hit her prime as well, really, isn't she? I mean, she's 29, so she's hitting her pomp.
Yeah, I think she's just turned 29 as well, hasn't she?
Yeah.
But you know what? I hope she gets a chance in the actual England starting 11 because she deserves it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So Jim's saying, he said that one already. Have we got any more in the chat? No. Right. So we'll go back to the banners. Have we got any more?
We've got Neville. At a time, she was scoring and assisting goals and on the verge of an England cap. They put her at left back or right back. Jepson's clueless. Naz will never be good enough at the WSL level.
Well, that is a controversial one as well, David, because every time I've watched Naz, I think she's committed and she's a Spurs girl. She came from our academy, really. I know she didn't start out, but, she's a talented lady. She's a bit on the small side, so she does get knocked off the ball quite often, but she'll fight back for it. See, there's players, they'll lose the ball and they won't fight back for it. So I was looking in particular because I remember you saying that about her earlier on last season when I was doing my shows last year. And I don't know, she's one that splits the fan base because when I'm at the matches, there's little girls who absolutely adore her. And then the older ladies, like not just my age, but younger ones as well, like in their 30s, 40s, they sort of say that as well, that she needs to do more. Yeah. But that's up to the manager. Yeah. And it's up to the manager to get the best out of that player.
Exactly.
Right. And we've had Rhiann Skinner, she was sacked, and then Vicky Jepson comes in, and then Jessica Naz picked up an injury as well. So she was coming back from injury as well. And I know when you've come back from injury, it does take a bit of time to get into the role, and get back into fitness and get back into your game. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah. Yeah, see, David Clark, I like him because he puts a little question in there to get us talking.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Carl Simpson, you are back, and we're glad that you're back. And you're not going to catch us out with that thing you catch us at with the CC. Right, so we've got Jim here saying, because there is so many ladies' teams, you will get Gooners, Chelsea and Spurs swapping players.
Not so many ladies' teams, yeah.
Yeah, not so many ladies' teams. Yeah, that is true. Right, so we had Iwabuchi on loan, right? But that was the only one we had and then we bought Beth England from Chelsea. But that's because they've got brilliant strikers at Chelsea.
They're just a great team, aren't they?
Sam Kerr scores for fun, right? And there's no one better in the WSL, and that's why Chelsea did the double. Not just because of her, but her goals bloody helps. That's one thing for sure. Right. And then we've got Rob Belcher. Good morning, Rob. I love that picture of Jimmy Green.
Yeah.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, class.
Rob Belcher says, a massive big up to my favourite ladies apart from my family. True. What has Beth England got to do to get the minutes she deserves? Do you know what? I think she's done enough. If Serena Wiegman doesn't see that she's worth a try, because I saw the Portugal game and we were really lacking. They were so out of it up front. They weren't gelling. And then they brought on Chloe Kelly and she made a little bit of a difference. But Russo and they've lost Leah Williamson up front as well. But Russo wasn't doing that much. She was huffing and puffing, but not blowing anybody's house down. But you know what? There's strikers, right? We've seen them at Spurs men as well, like Soldado.
Yeah.
We've seen Janssen. They might have a certain skill set, but they just don't put the ball in the net.
No, and that's their job.
And that's their job. And Beth England can do that for fun. She scores for fun. And then when she was left out, then I'm thinking she's going to bring her on now. She didn't bring her on. Then I'm thinking now another one's coming off. She brings on a defender. Oh, she
You
can't.
need to write to her, Elly.
I will. I'm going to do that email. Don't you worry. It's just I have to word it properly, in proper English, not Cockney.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. We've got FCS Columns joined us. Hello, the Man United fan. Come on. What are your hopes for Spurs ladies next season? We covered that, but what we'll do, we'll cover it again. We'll talk about my personal hopes is that we push on and make that Champions League spot. But we've got to do a few signings, right? Because Manchester City made the play. Aston Villa have made the play, right? And then you've got teams like Brighton, they sort of dropped off, but they were quite good to watch. Right? But Aston Villa were very good. And Manchester City, they've always been there or thereabouts, but they haven't been the dominant force. Because the Man United, the Arsenals and the Chelseas have. Arsenal being the most successful, right? But if we're going to push up to that level, we've got to make some serious signings. So Daniel Levy, get your checkbook out.
Yes.
What do you say, Kate?
I say exactly the same as you. Get the checkbook out. We're never going to catch up unless we bring in some top players. We'll end up getting left behind otherwise, I think. Because the Chelseas and Arsenal's improve year on year. Do you know what I mean? And yet we just need to make that jump.
Yeah. And they've made so many signings. I was looking at their signings, and they've made some terrific signings, and we haven't made any signings.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
not right. You've got to invest in the women's team as well, and this is what these programs are like. These programs are made to bring the girls' football, women's football, into the forefront, and real fans like you and I, Kate. And we're following our men's team and our women's team, and we're making a difference.
Yeah.
So it's very important for us to make noises in the right places.
Yeah, we'll write a letter to Levy as well.
Yeah, we'll do one to Levy. And if it gets intercepted by Donna Cullen, she's a woman. She should be on our side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on. Right, so column saying, best hope is mid-table finish. We don't invest enough compared to the other clubs. Oh, that's Carl Simpson, sorry. Yeah. That's where we got to do it. We've got to get our checkbook out and invest in our women's team, because I'm not having it. I'm going to the matches at White Hart Lane this year, and I campaigned for that. I campaigned solidly to get our matches at Spurs, right? Because it wasn't fair. What I was doing, I was trekking over to Brisbane Road, right? And there's 2 matches that were called off, right? And nothing on Spurs' website until too late. Yeah. So I spent all my money getting over there and the money on the ticket. All right. And then they rearranged the Everton game, and they rearranged, I think it was the Leicester game. I can't. Yeah. Right. But either way, right, they shouldn't have done that.
No.
Right. And now they're playing at White Hart Lane. I'm so happy for the ladies, because it's going to generate revenue, right? Because all the sales of the beers and the food and everything like that, and programs. Because the program sellers at Brisbane Road, you had to trek right round the back to get one. Yeah? And if you're charging £3 or £4, that's £3 or £4 every program. And if they get, say, 10,000 on average, I'm not saying that they will, but if they do get a 10,000 crowd average throughout the year for each game, that's a lot more money than they were earning at Brisbane Road.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and I think the fact that we'll be playing at White Hart Lane, it raises the profile of the women's game as well, massively.
Yeah. I'll let you read out some of the chat as well, Kate. So you're all right. Here we go. There you go.
What's this? Chat GPT will generate you a good letter. I don't think Elly needs that. I think she'd be able to write her own.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll do it from my heart.
Yeah.
That's how I got them to listen to me, because I'm later on I'll talk about Her Game Too, but I'll just touch on it. Her Game Too is a fantastic organisation. It's an award-winning organisation that champions women in sport, right? And they do so much good work, but I'll talk about that later. So I know how to write the thing. You know, if you put pressure and the right pressure and you do it in an eloquent way, yeah,
Exactly.
and you're not, you know, you can get things done in football.
Exactly.
There we go.
Hello, David Clark. Elly, there's more chance of me winning Mr. Universe than Spurs ladies getting Champions League qualification.
You see, David's the ever-present cynic, isn't he? But do you know what? If you go to the gym, David, work out, get those weights, get the 15s and the 20s, pull them up. You know, you never know. And then Spurs ladies might even make that top three. Look,
Exactly.
it takes a tweak here and a tweak there. And Vicky Jepson is a very good coach, mind you. She might have made small errors here and there, but she'll put those right because she would have learned.
Exactly.
Right? It's a learning curve. When you're a coach and you're competing against these top sides, you've got to think out of the box and you've got to see, right, how are we going to beat this team? They've got better players than us. Because even if we strengthen, we've got to strengthen about 8 players to get up to that level. You know, that's, in my opinion, we've got 3 solid players. We've got Beth England, Jessica Naz. I say she's a very good player. And then say 4, Drew Spence, right? And what's her name? I've forgotten her name now. My favourite player.
We spoke about her, didn't we? And I can't remember her name.
Mental block sometimes. Anyway, yeah, doesn't matter. We'll move on. There, here we go. Big up Elly and everyone in the chat.
Hi, Chris.
There you go.
Oh, Jim and Rob having a chat.
They're having a chat.
Sponsored by Mr. Muscle. Jim who? Laugh out loud. Yeah, no. They're just doing a chat amongst themselves. Tweak my bloody hamstring.
Ash Neville. Well, do you know what?
Ash Neville, that's it.
I'm having a mental block today. It's because it's too bloody early for me. Right.
Get some coffee.
Sometimes you get up early and your head is spinning, especially at my age. Right. So now, where are we up to? We're up to here. Right. So we had some departed players from Spurs women this year. We lost the ever stalwart Caris Harrop. She played 172. It's a league record as well, WSL league record. 172. She played most of them for Birmingham and some for us. So hats off to her.
Yes.
You know, that is fantastic to have a player with that experience, but to lose her is hard. But I think it is. What she probably thinks is time. You know, as a player, when you can't do all the things that you used to do when you were a little bit younger, and you've got to hang up your boots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's horrible when you see a player at the end of their career and you're looking at them thinking, you know, they can't do what they did, and it's pitiful to watch. Sometimes it's best to go out on a high.
Yeah, true. And then we had the young Esther Morgan, who's only 20. She came from our academy. She's a Welsh girl, and she went on 3 loans last year, and she ended up at Sunderland, the last loan, and she's come back and they've let her go. And at the club, they're not really saying why, and I'm trying to get information, but sometimes they like to keep things in closed doors because it's a personal thing. It might be, I'm speculating that she's a bit too small, and you know she finds it tough to compete at this level, and that's why she went down to the lower leagues. She'll find someone who will love her, you know, and she'll find the club.
She might build herself back up anyway and come back. Who knows?
Yeah, and then there's a name I can't pronounce.
Chioma Ugobagu.
Ugobagu. Yeah, we've let her go as well. She's gone to AS Roma. Just excuse me. Can you take over the show because my throat's gone a bit?
Of course I can.
I'm just going to have some water.
Okay, lovely. And then Chosu Hoinkian Simon and Mana Iwabuchi they were on loan from Arsenal and they've gone back. While I'm in, let me just have a quick look at the chat. I saw someone's just come out of hospital. Rob Belcher had a bladder operation on Monday, back home convalescing and pumped up with painkillers. Wishing you better, Rob. Hope you get well soon and keep resting. Spence is a selfish player who lost possession, cost us goals. That's David Clark. Hope you get better soon, mate. Sounds painful. That was Jim to Rob. And David Clark, I'm quicker than Harrop and I'm nearly 69. Laugh out loud. Have a great retirement. Nearly 69. Ooh, my favourite number. So, yeah, I think that's up to date with the chat.
My throat went a bit then. You know when your throat goes a bit scratchy?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why I got my coffee.
So you've covered all that.
Yep,
so with Mana Iwabuchi, like I said, she was a little bit lightweight sometimes in the middle and she got knocked off the ball. Very skillful player though.
Yeah.
Brilliant at dribbling. Yeah, I think she's 30, right?
Oh,
and Arsenal, I think Arsenal let her go because, you know, she was coming to the end of her career as well. And they thought, this Palmer off to Spurs. Right. But she had a couple of good games I saw. Against Man United, she was pretty good when she came on. And a few other games, she was quite good, you know. But she didn't set the fire going in the field, you know. Right, so now I'm going to talk about... I will talk about that. Right, so my year as Spurs Women's Ambassador for her game 2. I'm going to touch on it, really. I'm not going to bore you all. But it was really exciting to be made the ambassador. And a lady called Kirst Richardson, who's a very, very high-profile girl in YouTube. And she was very prevalent early doors. And then she's got her 2 kids, so she had to sort of take a step back. But she's doing fantastic work for her game 2 in the background as well, even now. And she was the Spurs men's ambassador. She nominated me. And it was really good. I had a really good interview with a lady called Kaz. And the work these ladies do is remarkable, right? And I joined the crew, right? And I got the drift. What they're looking for is equality in the women's game, you know, so that we're treated as equals. You know, that's why it's called her game 2, because women were playing football back in the dark ages. You know, it's not just from the 1970s, 80s, 90s and onwards.
Yeah,
playing football way before that, right? And it's a sport that everybody should enjoy. Right, and her game 2, they pump that, but they don't do it in a way that's detrimental to the men's game. They do it in a way that we just want equality. And for the fans who are going to matches, for the officials, you know, because they get abused as well, for the players, the discrimination. And I urge everybody to get over to their website. It's hergame2.co.uk. I'll bring it up in the banners later on. But it's www.hergame2.co.uk, because you'll see all the great work that they do, and all the ladies and the men are working hard in the background to create partnerships with clubs to make it more safer for women to attend matches as well, not get abused or sexually harassed or any abuse. It doesn't matter. You know, it could be for your colour, for your sex, anything. Yeah. So they're doing fantastic work, and my hat goes off to these ladies. And because I've joined them and I like doing the work, right? It's a pleasure, you know. And you see on their website that they've got a separate portal that we all talk on, like we've got our WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
And you've got so many good people that rally round women that have had struggles. They might have caught cancer. They might have had a child that passed away. You know, they might have had their mum like really ill and they're struggling. And we all stick together and we fight for one another to bring the game to the forefront for the women so that we can be treated fairly. That's all we want. Some, you know, people that come to the match and you see a woman there and you treat her like a proper fan. You don't treat her differently. You don't treat her just because she's a woman. Don't treat her differently. You know, treat her like you treat your mate. You know, that's what women want. When I go to a football match, there's chivalry and there's chivalry. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's too much over the top.
Yeah.
You know, right? But they do very good work as well in terms of writing to the FA and writing to the Football League to get things changed, big things. And when you go on international duties, what you face in other countries as well. Yeah, because you know, you've seen it in the men's game, players getting abused. It happens in the women's game as well. It's no different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's fantastic work, and my hat goes off. And I will be doing even more work this year, because I have to reapply as well now. So I have to reapply for my position. So hopefully I've done enough. Right. So we've got more people in the chat, Kate, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, Cole Simpson's, I had to hold myself from spitting my coffee out. We have learned that David is quicker than Harris and Kate loves a 69. That's what happens when you leave, Elly.
You know what? My throat was all scratchy. I've had a sore throat all week, but, you know, sometimes you have to have a little bit of a drink to calm it down, especially when you're talking a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Cole, you must be the funniest man on earth, I'm telling you. I'm not saying that Jim's not funny, but oh my God. He's just one of those characters, even in the WhatsApp groups. He's fantastic.
Yeah, good banter.
I always wake up and I look forward to what Carl Simpson's going to say.
Oi.
David Clark, Drula, I didn't want to mention that being a gentleman and that lull. Right, so what? Oh, yeah, there it is. Lulls, it's my favourite number. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God. Then we've got David Clark. There's no such thing as equality in life. I played my football against a West Indian side called Highland Rangers, who were a great bunch of lads who were a top side, and we had no tension. Yeah, you see, right? Sometimes something gels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I grew up in Tottenham. I don't know where you grew up, Kate. Where did you grow up?
Bexley Heath, same as Mia. Yeah.
Right. So it's similar, right? Similar areas, you know. Yeah, Mia was born there. I think she was born there. Yeah, but she grew up there anyway. But Tottenham, I had every single nationality down my road. And Laurie Cunningham's sister, the footballer, used to live down my road, the Cunninghams. They were at the bottom of my road at Beaconsfield Road. So we used to play football with them as well. Right? And we had so many nationalities that we all gelled. And there was no, you know, in those days, there was no like airs or graces about what country you're from. You just got on. You just got on. It didn't matter. Yeah. And my school where it was called the Drayton School. First of all, it was called Markfield Grammar School, and then it changed to the Drayton School. And now it's called Bladesmore Community School. Everybody was treated as an equal at my school. It was fabulous.
Yes, that should be.
I had friends from every single nationality, and I had friends that were Jewish, and I thought they were English. I didn't know they were Jewish, because, you know, when you're a kid, you just see everybody as the same.
Exactly.
Right? So I just thought they were English. And then my friend Diane Sink, she was like a Jewish girl. I used to go round her house. She used to come round my house, and we had really good fun, you know. And there was no thing, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. You know, we just got on, and it was lovely. And I remember there was one Jamaican bloke down the bottom of my road. His name's Patrick, and he used to go, "Hello, Elly, good morning. You going to play football today?" I said, "Yeah," because he used to watch us all the time as kids, playing out on the road with our 10-bob ball. Let's do some more chat. We've got Carl Simpson. We've got that one, haven't we? We've done that one. Jim Boxall, Kate Holly is outside the bedroom door, asleep.
Oh, that's my cat.
Oh. And we've got Drula, my niece, saying David Lowell. And then the last one is, we've done that one. Right, so let's get back to the banners, right? So we're going to go on to the World Cup players, right? So the World Cup players for England, we've got Beth England, which is an appropriate name. Then you've got Australia, even though she's sort of left us, but we're not quite 100% sure yet, is Kaya Simon. She's gone back to Australia, but we don't know whether she's going to return. And I was asking people at the club, and they said she hasn't made a strong decision, although it says she's left, but she hasn't made a strong decision yet. I think she's going to do it after the World Cup because she had major injuries all last season, but she's still been picked for the Australian 23-woman squad.
That's good.
Yeah. And then we've got Becky Spencer and Drew Spence. And then we've got, let me just check because, my mind goes blank. Then
They're Jamaica, right?
Then we've got Rosella Ayan for Morocco.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're for Jamaica. And then we've got one more player.
Selena Sadorski
for Canada. That's it. Right.
Yeah.
So all those players, they've all got an outside chance. Probably the main favourite is England. Yeah. Come on, England. But even Jamaica, they're in a tough group. I'm just going to bring the groups up now so that everybody's familiar with the groups. Right. There's the FIFA World Cup groups. Right. So Australia, right, they're going to be grouped with Republic of Ireland. We haven't got any Republic of Ireland players in our team at the moment. They might be in the academy or in the next lot underneath the first 11, but you've got Canada with Shalina Sadorski. So Shalina Sadorski, if she gets picked, will be playing against Kaya Simon, and they'll be right up against each other because one's a defender and one's an attacker.
Yeah.
And then you've got England in Group D. You've got Denmark and China and Haiti. So she's not going to face any of our players. And then you've got Jamaica. They're not going to face any of our players unless they progress to the last 16. But they're in a tough group, Jamaica. Look who they've got. France, Brazil, all right, Panama are an up-and-coming side, but they're still good. I've been watching them. They're a really good team. And then we've got the last one is Morocco. And they've got Colombia, Korea Republic, and Germany. All right, Korea Republic, we haven't got any players in there, but Morocco is Rosella Ayan. So, you know what? I think Morocco will do well in that group. I really do. Yeah, because they drew with Portugal 1-1 about a week and a half ago, I think it was. Portugal drew 0-0 with England as well. So I think they'll do well, right? I wish all our players, very good luck, but obviously Beth England more because she's English and I'm
asking really, if we're in a hard group.
Yeah, we're in a pretty hard group. Let me bring it up again. There we go.
Denmark, wasn't it? Was it Denmark?
Yeah, we've got Denmark, China, and Haiti. Now Haiti had a very good. They qualified through the playoffs, right? But China and Denmark got very strong teams, so we've got to be on our guard, right? We can't take things for granted, right? What do you think? Do you think we're going to progress?
Me?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I think we will, 100%.
Yeah, I think we'll progress because I think it'll be us and China. Do you know that?
But I think we'll win the group.
I think we'll win the group as well, 100%. Come on, the England line.
Come on,
Come on. Let's do it. And then I wanted to bring up a couple of other things as well. Let me just get them up in the slides. Right, so that's the Barclays Premier League, right? They've been going, the first season was 2011, and number of teams is 12, and the level on pyramid is number 1. Yeah, because basically it's the top league, so obviously it is at number 1. But the 13 years it's been going, Arsenal, Man United and Chelsea have been dominating it. So it's a shame for us, we should be really pushing forward and competing with those sides. Yeah. And then this is the table for last year. Right, let me just get rid of this one so people can see. Right, let me take this off. Right, lad, let me put that on. How do I get rid of that? Oh, right. So we've got Chelsea finished first with 66 points. Man United finished second with 56 points. So there was a 10-point gap. Do you see how good they are?
Oh no, Chelsea had 58 points. Man United
sorry.
56, yeah.
No, I'm looking at the wrong bit. Chelsea 58, Man United 56, sorry. And then Arsenal 47. So they dropped off a bit, Arsenal, but they still made Champions League because the top 3 teams get Champions League. And then Man City, it was only goal difference, I think, that you know, over Arsenal that they lost out. I think it was the goals conceded because they scored 50 and lit in 25 and Arsenal scored 49 and lit in 16. So it was done on that. And also because David Dean's there. I had to take a dig, Then, like I said, Aston Villa, up and coming team, Everton. Aston Villa, very good team, and Everton too. They pushed up. Liverpool, really, they should be finishing higher, really. And then you go down to West Ham, they even finished above us. They didn't just win the Conference League for the men, they finished above us in the WSL as well. And then look at our points, 18 points. That was really bad. And then Leicester City was 16, and I think it was trying to get rid of this. Right, do I click on it? I don't know.
If you click on it, it should say hide, and you just click on that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Better. Right. See, technical part is not my good sort. Not my good point. Right, so Brighton and Hove Albion and Leicester finished on the same points. And look at that, minus 26 and minus 15, which is bad. It really is. They have to shore up their defences to compete. And then poor Reading, we thrashed them 4-1 to send them crashing down on the last game. Well, it's the penultimate game of the season, but it was our last game at home, and we played it at White Hart Lane, and it was after the Brentford game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a shame for Reading because they did quite well in the cup. They knocked us out of the League Cup. They beat us on penalties 5-4. So I'm not really that unhappy for them. Sorry, Reading, but I'm a Spurs supporter, so you beat us, so we don't like you. Right, so we touched on that one. So I'll go to the next one. Women's FIFA World Cup 2023. Yep, let me just get rid of this. Remove from the screen. That's it. Now we can see the beautiful Kate. Right, so Women's FIFA World Cup is going to start on the 20th of July. The host nations are New Zealand and Australia, if anybody doesn't know by now, that you should know. If you don't know, get to know, as Alex says. Or if you don't know, give your head a wobble like Mia says. Right, so New Zealand versus Norway. And we're so excited for this, aren't we, Kate? Come on.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Only a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's our turn to shine. The women are going to show the men as well what great footballers they are, and what great goals they can score.
Exactly.
And there's going to be high-scoring matches as well, I presume.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. We're second favourites to win it, so we've got a really good chance.
Behind the USA. Now, the USA, we're not going to harp on about them too much, but they are holding champions, and they've won it back-to-back. And Germany have won it back-to-back in 2003 and 2007. We haven't yet won it, and there's been 8 World Cups. So we've got to bring it home.
Yeah.
Come on,
it's coming home.
Yeah, I want to do a song for the England ladies, I think I might hire Brad Matthews, the guitarist.
Yeah.
Kaufman to do some guitar work for us for a song.
Yeah.
I write the lyrics with Brad. We'll do a joint lyrical thing, because you know what, the girls, right, they deserve all the plaudits now because they've just fantastically won against the Germans in the semi-final, and they beat Sweden in the semi-final. So that's no mean feat, beating those 2 top teams and taking the trophy and seeing Chloe Kelly with her shirt. Woo! fantastic, you know. And I want to see that again. But this time I want Beth England to be doing it.
That's right. Scoring the winner.
Yeah, it's got to be the winner in the World Cup final.
Yes,
you know?
definitely.
And whoever we face is going to be a hard game if we make that final. It's going to be a tough one.
Yes,
right.
It will.
I think we've got to get a few more games in place. I think we played Portugal, and I think we're going to play Canada. I read in a behind the closed doors match, right? So I think it will be televised, but I'm not sure. I've got to research a bit more on that. But it did say it's going to be behind closed doors, and it's a pre-World Cup build-up match. And these girls, they do need it, because when I saw them against Portugal, they looked rusty. They really did. So they need to get more training in, and then they got to get acclimatized to the New Zealand and the Australian weather.
Yeah.
And then they got to really, really pull up the socks, you know, and get going.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're not ready for it, these other teams will take advantage. However skillful you are and however technical advanced you are than the other countries, you can still be found out. So you've got to be ready. So come on,
England.
Yeah, Serena Wiedmann, get your troops all fit, and you know those fitness coaches. You've got to earn your crust now. Come on, you know, put the work in. Right. So now, moving on from the World Cup, this is very good at Spurs what they did. Right, in 2020-2021 season, the Spurs launched their female talent pathway, and there's a girl called Olga Okran that she was talking about her life as an under 19, and that she came into our academy and what it was like. And she was saying it was very hard for her. You know, she found it tough at first because of all the training. Because when you go to that level, Kate, it's different. And a lot more demands are made on your body.
Of course.
Right? And you've got to strengthen parts of your body that are going to tear. Because I've touched on this many occasions. The ACL injury in the women is 6 times more likely to happen in women's sport than in men's sport. So now all these academies have to be looking at this at grassroots and making sure the girls are ready from a young age. And then they come up to the under 15s, they come up to the under 19s, and then they go into the first team, hopefully. If they're good enough technically and good enough on the ball and good enough with their strength, you know, because you can have all the skill in the world, but if you're not strong enough, you get found out.
Of course.
What do you think about that, Kate?
Yeah, I mean, it is linked, but I was reading that Enfield Council of Tottenham have bid for the old golf course near the training ground, and they're building a girls' academy on there.
That's right.
Which is fantastic news.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? It's still in progression, but once it's ready, because the girls, right, they were allowed to go to the Spurs training ground on occasions, but not all the time. So now they're going to be at the Spurs ground. They're going to be using those facilities full time, and that's going to benefit them because we've got state-of-the-art equipment now, and it's going to build those girls up in the right way, you know.
Exactly.
But, I mean, David Clark touched on it. If you're like a Mr. Universe, but we don't want our girls to be a Mrs. Universe, but you've got to be tough.
Of course you have.
You've got to be ready. You've got to be fit.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've got technical players in our team, but they just lack that physicality. Right? It's only Shalina Sadulski and Beth England who I would put my hat on and say they can shrug off a player at the highest level when you're playing the Chelseas, the Arsenals, and the Man Uniteds and the Man Cities.
Yeah.
You know? You can get away with the other teams that are like in your sort of league. You know what I mean? But if we want to push on, we've got to make these academies really work hard and really push on and make sure that all the girls have got the right mentality as well, because that's important.
Yeah, of course it is. They need to instill. I mean, the mentality is a massive thing in the men and the women. You know, they've got to instill a strength in their mentality more than anything.
Yeah, true. And like, I'm really happy for this girl called Olga Okran. I was just going to get up some more information about her. Just bear with me while I'm doing that. I'll let you read the chat. Yeah, you read the chat while I'm getting her information up, because I want people to know about her, because she deserves a really good mention.
Cole Simpson says the ladies playing in the stadium and using the Spurs facilities will only make them better. 100% agree. UEFA TV, free sign up, 5 p.m. kickoff. This is Drew, because she's watching the under 21s tonight. Jim said we have a lot of football coming up. Spurs pre-season and the World Cup, love it. Jim also asked how many teams go down and come up.
Yeah, it's just one team down and one team up. So Bristol City got promoted and Reading went down.
There you go. Cole Simpson, can they not make the league bigger? How many professional ladies clubs have we got in England?
I think they can. They are working on that. I was reading about that. They want to extend it to 16 teams, but they're not going to do it this season. They'll probably do it next season. So her game too is working on that as well, to make it 16 teams, to make it a bit more competitive. And also because there's more money being pumped into these academies, you're going to get a lot more players of a younger age making it. So you need to give them time to gel in. And if you're playing all the top teams all the time, right, and you're getting beaten, right, it's going to be, but you have to have lesser teams so these girls learn as well.
Yeah, of course.
And then they learn against the big teams and the little teams, the ones that are not going to do so well, and they're going to struggle, like in the men's team, when we play Man City, we up our game, don't we? We do. Yeah. Right? So they've got to up their game to get a chance to get into the first team, and they've got to impress in these academies to make the break. Yeah. So So I was just. Are you still doing the chat, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Big up to Chris, Meta Football, just popped in to say hi and hit that like button. Thanks, Chris.
Yes. Smash it up.
David Clark, I was talking with my neighbour and said I'm going on holiday to the West Indies with his wife. She said, Jamaica. I said, no, she wanted to go.
I'm trying to find that one as well.
Oh, yeah, Jim just says, thanks. I had no clue we could get it. Oh, that's about the football tonight. So we're all up to date.
Okay, good. Right, sorry, because I should have brought them up, but I was trying to concentrate on reading up about Olga, right? So she says, this is her journey, what she said. They asked her, how did you hear about the football club's development and the college program? And she said one of her friends told her about it, and it was the BSc program. And I looked into it, and I like the idea of combining my education alongside football. Yeah, which is very good.
Yeah,
educated, not losing your education. That's very important.
Yeah.
And they asked her, why did you choose this program? And she said, I chose this program as I wanted to continue playing football and developing as a player, as I saw this program offered many opportunities and I could potentially open doors for myself for my later career. Yeah. So, which is really lovely. You want to see things like that in football. Girls given a chance, but they don't lose their education as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when they're in the football academies, they could be football, and then they might not make it. So you've got nothing to fall back on. And if you haven't had a good education as well, which is very highly important, you can't stress that enough.
Yeah, so many are in these academies and so many of them don't make it.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, that's the sad truth, isn't it?
Now, right. So the last segment of the show, then we've got Jenna Scilacci, who's our former player. I don't know if anybody's seen her on. She's on sport. She's on Talk Sport occasionally, and she goes on a women's program on ITVX. I can't remember the name of the show though, but regardless, she's on that show, and it's a really great show for women. So she's hung up her boots at the end of 2019, 2020, and she's taken over our under 19 team. Sorry, it's the BSc under 19 team. So she will be in close proximity with Olga and other girls in that age group, and she's a fantastic player for us. Brilliant. So I'm glad that the club have made that appointment.
Yeah.
Because, when you've got someone who's played for your club as well, Kate,
Yeah.
I think it's very important to have them in the academies and to have them
100%.
come up and then take over the full role.
Yeah, because they've been there, done it, and they can sort of tell their story and guide the young girls along the way.
Yeah, and they've got the club's DNA built into them, because it's not just the men who like to play the progressive football that we lost out on under Conte and Nuno and
Jose
Mourinho, right? This Jenna Scalacci, she knows the Spurs style, and she knows that we've got to keep it solid and have creative midfielders. So she'll be pushing the club as well.
Yeah.
All the voices that combine together, mine, hers, obviously Vicky Jepson, because she's the interim manager at the moment, all the coaching staff, all the background staff, all the fitness coaches, they all can put their £5 worth in to make a movement to get things changed at Spurs Ladies, because we do need a lot of work. It does, and we need a lot of investment. And what I said to the club just recently, I phoned them up and I said it was really wrong. I was blunt, right? Because sometimes you have to be blunt. I said it was really wrong to take the girls to Louisville, Kentucky, because it's not a big football nation. They should have gone to Dallas or to Texas or to New York, where football's big, right? And they've got massive female following, and like they've got so many big clubs over there that they could have gone and spoken to those girls and got an experience.
And what did the club say when you said that to them?
Right, they said, yeah, we're taking your arguments on board, and we really do appreciate it, right? And I also spoke to the outgoing Spurs ladies general. She's like a general PR lady, right? Her name was Chloe Wakelin. She's gone now, but I spoke to her before about her game too, and also about progressing the women's team. She said there's a lot of work to be done. She even admitted it herself, and she's inside the club, but she said that they have done a lot of work, but there's still more to be done, and each step is a step in the right direction. Now they're playing at White Hart Lane next season. I'm not going to call it the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's White Hart Lane to me in my heart. That's what it is. All right. Then we made lots of progression. So all the voices together, and the voices on YouTube, the voices just like going to matches and talking and going into the press room. If you got, license to go in there, make noises in there, make noises even when you're in the Spurs cafe, because they frequent those areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere you can make a noise on social media, it's such a big platform now for women, so that we can make the changes,
I was reading up about the discrimination that women face yesterday, and I was absolutely shocked with what I've read. It's absolutely outrageous.
I know, and it's such a shame when you think that, in society in general, it does happen as well. But when it happens in sport, which is supposed to be a friendly thing amongst nations, I know it's a competitive friendly thing, but it should be something you embrace, and not like be discriminating against somebody's colour or somebody's sex. It's such a shame.
They said 2/3 of women who work in football have experienced abuse, but only 12% actually report it.
Yeah, because it's something they feel ashamed sometimes.
Yeah, or they're worried that it'll hamper their career.
Yeah, and there's lots of women have come out and spoken about that. And Her Game too, they do a brilliant program on that. If you tune into their website, you'll see it, where all the girls bringing up the cards of what's been said to them. And I experienced it as well, Kate, firsthand when I was playing. They used to shout all sorts of obscenities at me, and I used to go home because I was soft. I'm still soft cookie, but I've toughened up a little bit. But I used to go home and cry to my mum and dad, and it really got to me. And I know how the girls feel.
Yeah, of course.
I do. I really do relate to that. So when when I was working for her game too, and you see all these stats come out, it's like so bad. And do you know what? That leads us on to the very last segment of our show. Come on. This is what Katie Waity researched. She's a fantastic lady. We found out, well, Kate found out that Hannah Dingley, 40-year-old, first woman working as Burton Albion's coach between 2016 to 2019. On the 4th of July, which was only yesterday, she was appointed Forest Green Rovers caretaker manager following the sacking of Duncan Ferguson.
Wow.
That is a big wow for women's strides in football. To be a caretaker, I just hope that they make her the full-time manager now.
Right? Do you know what we was listening to Talk Sport when it broke. I think it was about 10:30 last night, and they were taking calls on it. And I think they had 3 men, and the first 3 men all said it was wrong.
You see,
and I was just like,
that's what we're facing.
I know, and I tweeted them and I said, look, it doesn't matter if she's male or female. If she's the best candidate for that job, that's it. It doesn't matter, I said. I mean, there was a program in the 90s called The Manageress. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Yeah.
And where she takes over the male football team.
Yeah, it was a good. Yeah, it's sort of a hypothetical, but it's like it shows you what could happen.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
But this lady, Hannah Dingley, my hat goes off to her, right? Because, right, she's been working at that club. They've seen something in her, and she's gelled with the players, and they've probably spoken to the players as well before they made the decision. Because that's what big clubs do, right? Even like, all right, they're not a massive club, but they're still in their league. They do really, really well.
Yeah.
Right? So I think they would have made a joint decision, and they've seen the goodness that she can bring to their club, the things that she's installed, and the respect that she's got at the club, and they've appointed her. So, you know, I really do think that's so good for them.
She's earned her stripes. There's no doubt about it. I mean, she spent almost a decade within the setups of Notts County and Burton Albion, and then went to Forest Green in 2019 in charge of the academy.
Yeah.
And she actually did an interview in March where she actually said a woman being in charge of a man's team will come sooner rather than later. It's like she knew then. That's what she said. Yeah. And she's proved it. And I could take my hat off to her, because if she's got the experience, why the hell not?
True. And to Cole Simpson, there'll be a lot of Clockerell Cocks on show, won't there? But she'll have to turn her face or something. But you know what? Us women, we can take it.
We can take it.
You know, like if a man was in charge of a woman's team.
Yeah, you know, like Phil Neville.
Isn't he? They're not going to all be discreet.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's part of being the game. Right, so what's Thfc Till I Die saying? You read that one out.
As a man who faced abuse from an ex, that and any form of abuse to anyone is not right, should not stand. Men should show respect to any woman, but for a man who faced abuse from a woman, I take my hat off to you both.
Yeah.
I mean, I said to Jim, I get abuse a lot on social media. Still, I will write something about Spurs and I'll get, shouldn't you be doing the cooking, or doesn't the house need cleaning? And I just go, yeah, original. But I just think, how in 2023 are we still getting those sort of comments?
I know. Even when you're just out and about doing your shopping, you get abused.
Yeah, I know.
You just be down in the cinema and you get abused. You could be just at a wedding or a party and you get abused.
Yeah, I know.
But at a sporting event, you're going to watch your team and you just want to be left alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You just want to get on, watch the match, be left alone, and just be treated as an equal. And if you're playing on the pitch, don't be shouting obscenities to these women, because they're professional women. They're putting their heart and soul into becoming that good, you know, and playing in the top league, right? And nobody deserves, man or woman, baby, child, whoever it is, nobody deserves it.
One lady was saying on that her game too that she was at the game watching her team, and she said something opposing to another male fan. He pushed her up against the wall and told her she was asking to be raped purely because she disagreed with his opinion. And I just think, I mean, how things like this lady taking charge of Forest Green, this Hannah, it's such a massive thing for women's football, and it's such a huge step in equality in the game. Huge.
100%. And you know what else, right? I had a really bad experience at Spurs, 2 bad experiences actually. The first one, I was filming for Thfc Till I Die, and it was just after Sonny had scored his hat trick, and I put my iPad down, and this Spurs fan wanted to go toilet, and I'd seen him before. He's a bit of a lout, right? And he walked past and he said to me, "Girls shouldn't be filming at football, should be at home." And he kicked my laptop and cracked it. My iPad, sorry. He cracked my iPad, right? So that was one incident. And at the same match, I was outside and I was really, really upset about it. I went up to the security guard and told her what happened. And then I went to stand. I didn't want to go back to that section because I thought, if I go back to the section, he's going to be there and he's going to be mouthing it. So I was there, and this young lad came up to me because I was doing a half-time report. And after I finished it, he goes, "What are you on about? You're a girl. What do you know about football?"
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, but I just, I didn't rebuff him. I really wanted to rebuff him because he was so young. He was about 17, 18 years old. I thought he'll learn in time. I really did want to say something, but I thought, you know what? Sometimes you can say something and they'll get out a knife.
Yes, exactly right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's so true, but it's such a shame. I mean, I've been to several Spurs games. I have to say I've never once got any abuse at a Spurs game, but I know people that have, lots of people. Yeah. So
I was at the Spurs. The only other incident when I went with my 3 daughters, to Spurs Brighton in the FA Cup, and this guy made the play for us all, right? Even me at 60, he was making a play for me, right? And then he was just hassling us. And this one big beefy Spurs fan behind us, he goes, "Leave the women alone."
Really?
Right? And then he got frightened and he went on the other side. But he was a little bit tipsy, but not like, he knew what he was doing. And he was with his dad as well and his brother. And then his dad and his brother kept on pushing him away. And then they went on the other side. And then he came back on his own. And he kept on putting his arm, and the bloke just got him by the scruff of the neck and just said, "Leave the women alone." And he threw him on the other side.
So that's what Jim would be like.
Yeah, because it was so uncomfortable, Kate. We just there to watch the match.
It's just, I mean, it beggars belief to me. It just shows the ignorance and the state of how some people think in this society. But I mean, hopefully this will be another step towards bringing women's football into the spotlight and showing that, we deserve some equality in the game.
Yeah, like that. David Clark, my youngest son, was due to have a trial with Burton Albion as a goalkeeper, but got stretchered off, on the Saturday before therefore missed the trial, and Burton Albion never got back in touch. That's a big shame.
Yeah.
They should have got back in touch.
That's terrible.
David, Jim's saying. People like that do not have the balls to say it to a man's face, keyboard warriors. Do you know what I mean? It's so bad. So bad. It is
bad.
Yeah, they get behind the keyboard and it protects them, right? Because it's very hard to track down those people as well. They can be, but not a lot of money's been put in that either.
No, I've got a very thick skin when it comes to keyboard warriors. It doesn't affect me. But if I was at a Tottenham match, me and you, Elly, and there was some guys there, I would find that really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's one thing having it said to you electronically, but to actually face abuse or anything like that when it's face to face is completely different.
Because you don't know how they're going to react.
No, especially if they've had a drink or taken something.
Yeah. Very true. So David Clark saying, sorry, I've just rung my son. The trial was with Forest Green, not Burton Albion. There you go. You're in your son's good books again, David. Tequila 316 joins us. Morning, ladies. Morning to you. Daniel Sunderville, one love to all. Yeah. One love to all the Spurs fans, not to the Gooners.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jim Boxall, Daniel, spot on. True.
Yeah.
Right. So we've come to the end of the show, right, which is a shame. But I just wanted to finish with the actual. I wrote down all the managers of all the WSL teams so that people get familiar with them as well. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ladies, and then the West Ham job is vacant at the moment because Paul Konchesky left. So we've got at Chelsea, we've got Emma Hayes, as everybody knows. She's 46. She's fabulous. She's done the double this year. Shame Spurs didn't do it. Right. And then there's a man manager at Man City, Gareth Taylor. He's an ex-footballer, if everybody knows. And then at Liverpool, it's Matt Beard. Aston Villa is Carla Ward. She finished 5th, so she was the second highest woman, if I'm right. Yeah, she was the second highest woman. She finished in the place that Rhiannon Skinner finished last season, 5th. Yeah. And then at Everton, you've got Brian Sorensen, he's 43. Willie Kirk at Leicester City. Vicky Jebson, she's our interim manager, but I'm sure she's going to be made our full-time manager. She's only 36. Melissa Phillips is at Brighton. She's 35. And then the vacant manager at West Ham, outgoing, was Paul Konchesky. Arsenal is Jonas Enderval, I think it's pronounced. Yeah. He's very high profile in the game. He's a very good talker as well, actually. When I've seen him on telly, he does speak up. He talks up the women's game really well, which I like. Even though he's the Gooners manager, he does good work for the ladies. And then you've got Lauren Smith, who's just got promoted. She won Manager of the Year in the First Division, the league underneath, and she's at Bristol City. And then Mark Skinner at Man United, and then Reading got relegated. So, yeah. So there we go. That's the end of the show. But I've really enjoyed your company, Kate. This is going to be a regular thing now, guys and girls. And Kate, the next time we're on is on Friday, when we're going to feature Germany's World Cup team.
Yeah, it was the Germans.
Yeah, and then we're going to do Sweden. So they're two strong, Sweden, ABBA, right? Yeah, so they're two strong teams, and then after that we're going to do Brazil. Because I thought I won't have time to do all the teams, so I'm going to do Brazil, and I'll probably do a few other teams before the actual World Cup starts, and then THFC Till I Die, and this channel, THFC Women Till I Die, under our new name, we're going to be doing, lots of World Cup coverage, and hopefully we'll do some like watch-alongs as well. And we can do. Yeah, and also one good thing, I'm going to do a player profile of the top 10 recognised lady players, as they're recognised as the top 10. And they're actually, 9 of them are in my top 10, but I'm going to put the 11th one in, who I like as well, all right, as my top player. Yeah, so thank you very much all for joining us. I'm going to do one more thing before we sign off, because I want to promote this lovely lady by my sides. And this time I've actually got it. Let me just scroll up. Right, here we go. Banners. Right, there we go. There we go. Now, right, let me do that on a ticker tape. I think I can do it on a ticker tape, or maybe not. Nah. Anyway, there you go. It's youtube.com/@justagirlwholovespurs.com. But I think you can put the HTTPS, the 2 dots and the / in front of it, because Mia was saying to me it might not work like that, but I'm not sure, because I could do it when you sent it to me like that, and it worked.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if you just go to YouTube and search "Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs," I will come up. you will find me. So yeah.
And then we got Mia's. That's how you would do it. https /youtube.com at Spurs Between the Lines 1. Right. So there you go. Thank you very much all for joining us.
Yes,
Join us again on Friday. We'll look forward to seeing you all. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and bye-bye.
Lovely to see you, Elly.
Yeah, it was lovely to see you, but I've got to end the show now. So I'm trying to end it, but I'm rubbish. Listen, I'm going to do this. That's me with tech. I've got a joke about it. Now I'm going to do the closing intro. There we go. There it is. And there's this.